أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين والصلاة والسلام على رسولنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, dear brothers and sisters in Islam. Welcome to our discussion on emotions. Inshallah, today we're going to be talking about why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created our emotions, our hundreds of even thousands of emotions, and how we are supposed to direct and use these emotions. Of course, human being is a very unique being on earth, and we are not composed of flesh and bones only, and we are very much an emotional being. We have numberless emotions, and those emotions are driving our life to a great extent, and we are very much affected by them, and they occupy a very important place in our lives. So, why are they given to us, and how we should use them wisely? Because they are many times causing us problems also. So, what is the main reason Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us those particular emotions? Inshallah, today we're going to be talking about this. First of all, human beings possess thousands of emotions, right? And each of which has two aspects: an ephemeral, worldly aspect and a true aspect. So we can use it for the world, we can utilize it for the world, or we can use it for its true aspect and true reason of being given, which is the aspect of akhirah. So let us compare, inshallah, and let us see what do we mean by this. Today we're going to discuss about three emotions, and the first one is anxiety. And anxiety is a phenomenon in psychology, and it is a source of problems actually in psychology also, many sicknesses. And one aspect of anxiety is anxiety about the future. So why this feeling is given to us, and how we are supposed to use this feeling, which will not cause us any problems, and which will be actually a source of joy and enjoyment, both for this world and for akhirah. Because all of the emotions, they are given to us for a reason, right? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Hakim. He is wise, and He is Rahim. He is merciful. He does not do anything which is absurd, right? Which is useless. So why He gives us those emotions? For example, anxiety, it sounds like a negative emotion, right? But actually it's not. It's very much useful. Even actually we are using it in our life. For example, we are preparing for our exam tomorrow because of this feeling of anxiety. We are not If we are not anxious about it, so we will just live the life as it goes. We will not be preparing for anything. So let us look into the two ways of using the feeling of anxiety. So we can use the anxiety at an ephemeral and worldly aspect, or at a true aspect. A true aspect means why it is given to us by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What is the main reason that this emotion or any of the emotions is given to us? And the ephemeral one is not the real reason, right? It means it is not the real reason actually why Allah gives us those emotions. So we basically live at a worldly life. Unfortunately, many human beings right now on Earth, they are living a very secular life, and we are focusing everything that we have for this life, and emotions as well. And one of those emotions is anxiety. For example, we are anxious about future, but let's look into it. Actually, there is no need to be so anxious about the future. Why? Number one, there is no guarantee that we are going to reach the future, isn't it? Is there anyone among us who has a guarantee, who has a paper that he's going to live another 1 year, another 10 years, or even another 10 minutes? None of us has this document. So there's not actually a big need to worry about that. But when we look at Akhirah, is it clear and is it guaranteed that every one of us here is going to live up to Akhirah? Yes, it is sure and guaranteed that every one of us, we will all be resurrected, and we will all live up to Akhirah. We will all reach Akhirah. So why should we be anxious about this world for which we have no guarantee of living another 10 years, while we all have the guarantee that we will all live up to akhirah and we will all reach that. So actually we should use our feeling of anxiety for akhirah. And secondly, if someone is anxious about livelihood, about rizq, about sustenance, sustenance is guaranteed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the essential one. Of course, we have too many expectations and desires. Of course, these things cannot be promised, isn't it? So, the essential sustenance, which is enough actually for human being to live comfortably on earth, this is provided. This is, I mean, guaranteed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Of course, it needs our effort, and this is normal, but it is guaranteed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There are so many ayat. For example, Surah Hud, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Surah Hud number 6, it says, وَمَا مِن دَابَّةٍ فِي الْأَرْضِ إِلَّا عَلَى اللَّهِ رِزْقُهَا. So there is no living or moving creature on earth whose sustenance is not on Allah. Right? So the sustenance of all living creatures is on Allah, is upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we should not actually be hopeless and we should not be freaking out and we should not be too anxious about our sustenance because it's already promised, right? Of course, we should just pay our effort for it. That's all. But regarding the sustenance of akhirah, which means the beautiful pleasures, foods and drinks and enjoyments of akhirah, right? Which is in Jannah, is it guaranteed for us? No, it's not guaranteed for anyone, right? So it is, especially for the heedless, for the ghafilin, for those who forget Allah, who forget akhirah, right? Of course, for them it's very dangerous. So we should all be anxious about this. What's gonna be my situation in akhirah? Am I going to get the sustenance of Jannah, the beautiful provisions, the beautiful pleasures of Jannah? Am I going to get them? So this is what actually I should be, worried about. And finally, the future of this world is so brief. Why I should be too anxious about it to the point that I go into psychological problems? I feel, I have so many problems in life. Why? But on the other hand, the life of akhirah is long lasting. And indeed, it's everlasting, right? So it is actually what I should be anxious. So the feeling of anxiety is given to us to be anxious for the real things, which is something that is guaranteed, right? So we will all live up to akhirah and our rizq in Jannah is not guaranteed and the akhirah is everlasting. So this is what actually we should be anxious about. So the feeling of anxiety for this dunya, it's also needed to run our life smoothly, right, comfortably to a good extent, and we are already using it enough, even more than enough. So we should be focusing on using our feeling of anxiety to the matters of akhirah so that we can, you know have a comfortable future in akhirah, inshallah, which is the true future, right? The true future is beyond the grave. The future until grave is the temporary one. The real true future is the future which is beyond our grave. A second emotion is the feeling of ambition. For what? For possessions and rank. So do we all love possessions of this world, properties, owning something? Yes. And ranks and positions, of course, everyone loves it. So again, there are two ways of using that emotion, for world and for akhirah. For the properties of the world, they are temporary. No one actually owns anything of this world, right? We suppose that we are owning our homes, our lands, but actually they are owning us because they are changing the people, on them. But we never, keep owning them. We just leave, and some other people come in place of us. So we are not owners of anything actually. And secondly, in terms of the fame and rank and high ranks of this world, they are calamitous and dangerous for us, right? People having, occupying those high ranks, they're not actually very much happy all the time, right? And also it is dangerous for them. And also, it leads to hypocrisy. For example, you have people around you who love you because you are at that high rank, because you are, for example, famous, etc. So actually, this is leading to a lot of problems in life. So why should I be ambitious for something which is not actually very much useful for me? While on the other hand, in terms of closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there are numberless ranks and which is advised, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "Inna akramakum indallahi atqakum." Right? The best of you in the sight of Allah is the one who has the most taqwa, the highest level of taqwa. So this is why what we should be actually ambitious, right? وَسَابِقُوا الْخَيْرَاتِ عفوا فَاسْتَبِقُوا الْخَيْرَاتِ. right? And Allah also tells us to compete in terms of goodness in khayrat, right? So we should actually be ambitious, and we should actually compete and rush, right? Struggle in this aspect. It is advised and a commendable act in Islam to be ambitious in this regard, and also to be ambitious for good deeds, which is the true property, right? Which we will take with us to Jannah, to Akhirah. The true property is what? Is our good deeds, right? We need them. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam says, a person goes to his qabr with three things. He leaves two of them, and he takes only one of them with him. His friends go with him till the qabr, right? And then they bury him and they depart. His money, his fame, etc., his properties, they again accompany him until he is buried, until he dies. But his acts, his deeds will not depart him, will come with him, will accompany him all the way into the qabr and beyond the grave and beyond the qabr, right? So actually, what is really important, what really matters is our deeds, our good deeds. And this is a true property. So we should be ambitious to collect, right? More and more good deeds, inshallah. And another feeling is obstinacy. Again, it has two levels, two aspects, the ephemeral aspect and the true aspect, why it is given. So we use our obstinacy for invaluable things of this world, even the things that are actually harmful and damaging. But unfortunately, we keep insisting because we are an obstinate person. While on the other hand, we should use our obstinacy, which is really important and necessary, right, to improve our iman, right, to be on the right path in terms of Islam, in terms of iman, right, and also to persistently continue in our good deeds, not to leave any one of the 5 times daily prayers, right, not to lose any of them. It needs the feeling of obstinacy. Someone should be obstinate. I'm not gonna lose any of them, right? Someone should be obstinate, right, in doing good deeds. For example, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam says, "Qul amantu billah fastaqim." Say, I believe in Allah, and then be straightforward. So to be straightforward, it's very difficult. The whole life to be straightforward, to be, mustaqim, to be firm and straight, is very, what difficult. So it needs actually obstinacy, right? So you see, all of those feelings actually Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us for good reasons. For good reasons, they are necessary. But when we use them, when we direct them for the matters of this world, unfortunately, they cause us more problems, right? And at the end, we don't have them, we cannot get them. But they're actually given to us in order to, use it for akhirah. So we need to use our emotions for the world and for the akhirah wisely and with a correct proportion, which means, yes, we are going to use our anxiety for this world. It doesn't mean that we should leave this world completely. No. لا تنسى نصيبك من الدنيا. Allah says, don't forget your share from the world, right? Take it. But don't be over anxious about it. Be anxious about what matters much, much more, which is the Yawm al-Akhirah, which is the hereafter. So we should use our emotions wisely and proportionately. So finally, today, the modern psychology, it says there are negative and positive feelings or emotions. But actually, we don't agree with this. They say like regret is a negative emotion, hate is a negative emotion, fear, anger, shame, guilt, sadness, and others. They are negative emotions, but actually they are useful and nice emotions because regret helps us to regret from our sins so that we ask for forgiveness and we don't want to do them again. Hate is a good emotion actually. We should hate evil. We should have hate, shaitan. We should fear from Allah. We should be angry about our nafs, etc., etc. So these actually they will all lead us to khair, to goodness. But love can also be an evil feeling. When we love something wrong, it will lead us to destruction, for example. Right? So we should say that there are correct and wrong uses of emotions rather than negative or positive ones. So we should use our emotions why they are given to us. Right? Why they are given. They are all given to us to use them for the sake of Allah, in the path of Allah, right? with the right worldview. So if we use them accordingly, we will be, inshallah, happy both in this world and in akhirah, inshallah. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعواهم أن الحمد لله رب العالمين السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته